of DuPage. Prosecutors demanding school records, including details of the $800,000 severance package awarded to outgoing school president Robert Bruder, spending at the college's luxury restaurant, credits for its police academy. They've also been questioned. School officials insist they've handled themselves properly, and COD already faces local and state investigations as well. Well, joining me now is the chairman of For the Good of Illinois and the founder of OpenTheBooks.com, Adam Andrzejewski, joining me by phone. Adam, welcome back to the show. I have to start by saying it's really sort of amazing. I mean, $190,000 spent at Waterleaf Restaurant by these various board members, and basically their position on all of this is, we've done nothing wrong.
Well, last year we kicked that off, the spending at the Waterleaf, with not only the president but the senior management team and the entire board of trustees that spent tens of thousands of dollars. The Chicago Tribune reporters Jody Cohen and Stacy Sinclair then studied 3 years of that spending, and they found the figures that you just mentioned. And today in the Daily Herald, their reporters found another $102,000 spent by Bruder at the Waterleaf restaurant using the credit card charging the foundation. So now students and taxpayers and foundations and donors are in for over $300,000 of Bruder in spending and trustees and parties and gifts over there at the Waterleaf.
So, Adam, let me just ask you, because your group really is really digging into this and has been looking at this. The board members are saying we've done nothing wrong. I'm just curious. Can you actually, if you were their lawyer, can you come up with any plausible explanation to say, look, this is okay, here's why?
Well, today, my op-ed in the Daily Herald, and the title of the op-ed was COD Reform is Just the Beginning, Paul, because I advocate a forensic audit.
Yes.
And what a forensic audit will do is it will match the state law or the COD ordinance that gives the power to Dr. Bruder to spend or not spend. This audit needs to be done. They need to dig deep. A forensic audit is deep, it's evidentiary, it follows the money, it holds up in court, and if you think about it, it's how we caught Al Capone back in the day, and I think we need to bring it back for the College of DuPage.
Well, indeed, I've read your op-ed. That's not the only thing you suggest. You also talk about the importance of aggressive financial transparency. One would argue, why don't we already have aggressive financial transparency?
Well, this is the school, keep in mind, that last summer, while they were claiming to be transparent with every check, what we found was, since 2009, that they had hid $100 million worth of spending. And just a small portion of that spending was spent on house account number 10 and house account number 30, where they used these house accounts at the Waterleaf upscale French restaurant. They acted like Wall Street bankers, and they charged off the students and taxpayers. And here's the problem. This is a junior college. This is a school meant to serve the strivers, the working class students that deserve a world-class education at a fair and reasonable price. And at the end of the day, that's the big outrage, Paul.
You know, you also talk about, and I think these are your words, stopping insider feeding. They can't look at the College of DuPage as a piggy bank. Is part of the problem that it's just too easy to spend money where they want to, simply with getting enough votes or perhaps with authority that certain board members or the president had?
Well, for the last couple of years, I've said to citizens all across America that you can't complain about Washington, D.C. You can't complain about the state government in Springfield until you simply stand up and ask questions and demand answers of your local units of government. We think the situation at the College of DuPage just might be a microcosm of many units of government, including higher education institutions, all across the state of Illinois, and citizens need to start asking questions and demanding those answers and holding their public officials accountable for the tax and spend decisions.
So one of the things that throws me, usually, Adam, when you're looking at this kind of a scandal, it's one person, right? It's one person in an office, and then they've tried to hide it from everybody else. This looks like it was rampant among the entire board, almost. Well, not the entire board, because I want to take out, obviously, Catherine Hamilton there.
Well, Kathy Hamilton, she's the vice chairman right now of the school, and it was one good trustee versus 6 bad trustees for so long. They censured her because she ran such robust reform. But keep in mind, she's rare. She ran on reform 2 years ago. She won with the most votes in the history of the school. She executed on her promise, and that's very refreshing.
She also, you know, there was a new slate. For those who followed us, of course, we were here all election night, and we talked a little bit about the College of DuPage elections. There was what was called the Clean Slate Team. 3 new trustees. They all won. Out with the old, in with the new. Kathy Hamilton was actually instrumental in finding those people to create the slate. Is that correct? And what does it mean for the future there?
Well, the slate is not beholden to any of the establishment, either on the Democratic side or the Republican side. In fact, Kathy Hamilton had to out-hustle, out-recruit, and she got the best candidates for that ballot over the top of the establishment Republican Party, who at the end of the day wanted business as usual at the College of DuPage. So here's the point. The voters, man, they came through, Paul, in this election cycle. They put 3 people, most of which had never run for office before, into office on a ballot of 12 people. They had to follow this scandal. They had to follow Hamilton's lead. The people came through, and now, at the end of the day, there's a new majority, and Kathy Hamilton will be chairman and lead the reform.
Adam, again, you've dug into this so much deeper than most. Outgoing President Bruder basically asked to leave, given a $763,000 severance packages. I think there's efforts now to try and stop that from happening. But in your investigation, can you find any why such big dollars? What is that about?
Well, I think, it started last summer when we found and unearthed the email from Dr. Robert Bruder to the Board of Trustees, which outlined a political strategy to try to procure a $20 million straight state grant. And in the email, he admitted it was for the construction of a building that they did not need. When we unearthed and showcased that email, even Governor Quinn called it extremely alarming, and he stopped payment on that grant. It's been from that moment forward that we have brought a tremendous amount of heat, and I think they saw the light. They wanted to get rid of him. He decided to voluntarily retire, but here's the problem. They conferred a $750,000 severance bonus on him. And that obviously didn't protect the hardworking students or the taxpayers.
So I don't know what the investigation will lead to by the feds, maybe indictments, maybe not, but clearly I'm sure everyone on that board is going to be lawyering up. Do we know who's going to pay the lawyer fees as this goes forward? Is that just another huge bill of taxpayer money?
Well, I hope not. I hope not. And today, obviously, in my op-ed, I called for a 45-day forgiveness period. It's an amnesty period for those people from the inside of the school. The environment has been so toxic at the culture in terms of culture at the College of DuPage that whistleblowers fear coming forward, and that environment needs to change, and it needs to change rapidly. Of course, if there's already an ongoing investigation, that's not whistleblowing. But any additional detail, any support of law enforcement, we need to get to the bottom of this stuff as rapidly as possible. And you're right, Paul. At the end of the day, taxpayers need to be protected. We should not be footing the bills for the bad actors, and they should be punished. And if they're convicted, they need to lose their pensions.
Indeed, you call for a stiff prosecution in your op-ed today. Finally, Adam, I just want to ask you, you say that the COD reform is just the beginning. As I read that, it made me want to ask you, what is next? Is there something else on your agenda that you're looking at?
Well, over the course of the past 3 years, I've helped the noted downstate accountability organization, the Edgar County Watchdogs, pioneer a watchdog model. And over the course of the last 30 months, this model has forced out 114 elected and public officials from office. And so at every turn, no matter where we look, there are deep and systemic problems of governance here in Illinois, and it starts with citizens stepping up and having the courage and the principles to carry forward their questions, demand answers, and hold their public officials accountable.
Adam, when you ran for governor a couple of terms ago, you didn't make it, but I wondered what you were going to do. I think you found a place for your role here in the state of Illinois. Adam Andrzejewski for the good of Illinois, the president of that. Thanks for being with me. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks for having me on the program.
Sure. Questionable spending.